It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Hazleton Area School District Report. We bring you a report of what's happening in our school district. You know, there's 500 school districts in the state of Pennsylvania, and the Hazleton Area School District's top fifth. A $260 million budget, a lot of things happening in the school district. Now, some of you have been asking me questions, you know, why don't we ask the superintendent this, why don't we ask the assistant superintendents, blah, 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 blah. And so I have the information, and we'll talk a little bit about it today with the superintendent, Brian Uplinger, who was the main star of the show here today. But if you have any questions or comments, Sam at ssptv.com, 570-455-7267. You know, it's interesting. You got 500 school districts. We're the fifth in the state of Pennsylvania, and yet we're still struggling to get our fair share from the state of Pennsylvania.
We definitely are.
I don't understand that. I know Wacho and Argo have been fighting as much as they could.
Right.
And so I don't want to let people know that they're not, but I just don't understand why we cannot get our fair share. Okay, it still amazes me.
It's a definite. It's a constant battle.
Do you know why? The reasons why we're not getting it?
The only thing I can think of at this point is that the formula needs to be changed. Due to the fact we have over 14,000 students, there are different needs for the children that come to us. We have 5%, give or take, maybe it's a little bit more, maybe about 12%, I should say, special education students. So those students actually cost the district more because of the services that we provide for special needs students. That should be taken into consideration a little bit more than what it is currently. And those coupled with some other things budgetarily that are needed in a district our size, we're not getting our fair share. So that formula that the state utilizes needs to be changed in some direction, in some form.
So I see two things here, okay? I see demands coming from the state and demands coming from the federal government.
Right.
So if they're giving us demands, if they're giving the school districts demands, and they're saying you have to do this for this group or for this, et cetera, then don't you think that they should back that up with funding for those demands?
You would hope. There's a booklet that was put together by our intermediate unit. They do it every year, but they send it out to us. It's about 45 pages long of unfunded mandates that are put on districts. And it's not big print. It's 12 font of Times New Roman, whatever it is, that the 45 pages of different unfunded mandates that the district has to do in order to get through the course of a year. And then if you don't do that, you don't get your funding on different levels. It could be in grants, it could be in the basic ed funding that we receive on an annual basis, things like that. So if you don't do the unfunded things, you don't get the funding. But if you do the unfunded things, then you do get the funding. But it's kind of a double-edged sword in that respect.
You know what fascinates me is who comes up with these rules and demands? I mean, like, who are the people that make these demands? In all respects, no matter if you're building a house or if you're repairing, they come up with all these permits, and who comes up with all this stuff? Okay, and when you talk to specific legislators, say, well, the Hazleton Area School District just got demand that they have to only limit to 8 students or 12 or whatever the case may be. Who comes up with these particular things, and who is in charge of them? Who overlooks them?
The people. The people are they're elected officials that are put into those places that don't necessarily know exactly what's good or what's bad for students or for children. They do a lot. Like Senator Argo, Representative Watrow, they reach out to us a lot and ask, hey, is this good? Is this bad? How will this affect you? They're fantastic. They do a great job for us, as you said earlier. But we have other folks that we're going to put this mandate on a school district, regardless of if it's Hazleton or somebody else. without asking, and then we have to reap those repercussions on whatever that new policy is or that new mandate is on our school districts.
You know, it's fascinating, Brian, because when I was the chairman of the college board, we would see a need in the county. And as trustees, we would see whatever need, what is needed, whether they need electricians or whether they need it, whatever. And then what we would do then is say, okay, there's a need here. And then we would we would bring that suggestion to the president of the school, the educators, okay? Say, we need this. We didn't go and say, well, this is what we need to do. We're going to do this. And we did not run the college, okay? Getting back to why people say, well, my God, why are they doing this? Well, someone had to come up with that, okay? And it boils down to exactly what you're saying. Pay attention to whom you're putting into office. Because here again, how does a school board function with administration? Okay, I may have an idea of what I'd like to do for the school district, so I'm going to run for school board with my idea. Well, before I, come in and hammer the superintendent about my idea, don't you think I should be able to do some research and then say, look, what do you think about this, Mr. Superintendent? Because that's what we're paying you for. Your thoughts on that?
That's a great idea, and I welcome that opportunity. The door's always open for anyone that, any of our candidates that are running now or in the future. Come and talk to me and run your ideas past me. I have no problem giving you some unbiased feedback on how I think it will work, especially in our district. We're very unique in that sense that there are things that will work and maybe in a smaller district that won't work for us or vice versa. And again, we're very unique, 70% Hispanic population, so we really need to figure out, is it going to work for all students? And that's the most important thing. Are we doing the best thing for every single student that walks through our doors and providing that education?
We hear, particularly with seniors, and I'm going through the Laurel Mall here and say hi to a lot of friends of mine up here. And we'll talk about, he'll mention some of the shows and say, Sam, when you see the superintendent, what's going on with our schools today? What are these teachers teaching our kids? I said, well, what do you mean? Well, they come in with these ideas, okay? Are they teaching what they're supposed to be teaching? Or are they giving their own opinions, particularly in the high school, okay? So what kind of policies do we have to know that our kids are not going to get brainwashed, okay? Maybe my kid is very religious, maybe my kid is not religious, okay? But if my kid decides to maybe meditate or whatever, I don't want my teacher saying, well, what are you doing? Do you believe in God? Well, you should know that this country is going down the tubes. One of the teachers told one of the high school kids, how terrible this country is, okay? Now, I don't know if that's a place for a teacher to tell a student, welcome their ideas, that's perfectly okay. But what are these policies? I mean, and are kids getting what they should be getting? I know you can't be in every classroom, but your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we do have policies in place that allow parents to see the curriculum, to read over it, to observe it, to do whatever they'd like with it, and again, provide that feedback. There's a process that we have written in those policies that if they disagree with something that's being taught, they can reach out through a channel, and those policies provide for that information or for that outlet for them to give us their feedback on the curriculum. We have certain standards that we have to hit.
I just wrote that down. Who sets the standards?
Right. So the state sets the standards. Department of Education on what we should be shooting for. And so if we're not shooting for that, or we're not gaining, or we're not getting to those levels, then obviously we have repercussions on what takes place there too. But those standards are in place. The curriculum is written to the standards. We have differing committees that go through. If we're looking at a curriculum change for math or science, social studies, whatever, we have a group of teachers that are on that committee with administrators as well to look through those curriculum and provide their feedback on, is it good, is it bad, will it work, will it not work. Parents have the opportunity to also provide that information.
All right, you have a teacher, for example, who is predominant, just very political and voicing his or her ideas on the students, etc. So what type of discipline does that teacher get? And, what are the parameters of free speech versus I can do what I want to do, et cetera, and what they call brainwashing our students, and no matter what side I'm talking about.
Right. So it depends on the infraction, if you will, for lack of a better term. If something like that is occurring and the parent is aware of it and I'm not, please reach out to me or the building principal to let him or her know that this is taking place in the classroom. And then we take the proper steps. We investigate the situation. We speak with the teacher. We speak with other students, with other teachers that may be in or around the teacher that's in question. And then we provide the feedback on what we found. We never say what the discipline is on a staff member or even a student for that matter, because we can't. That violates their privacy in our human resources area. So we have to keep that confidential. But please know that those types of situations are always dealt with accordingly.
All right, that leads me into the other serious matter here. The serious matter is that the school district, we're the 5th in the state of Pennsylvania, and the school has to be run by people who know what they're talking about, right. At least, okay? Now, this show is going to run before the election and after election, so let's talk about pre-election. How involved should the school board be with the administration?
With me particularly, yes. They should be very involved. They should ask me the questions. They should wait for me to provide them the information back. Certainly work with our central administration, like the assistant superintendents, or business manager, assistant business manager. We're that tight-knit group in the district office that will be able to provide that information to our board members. Board members and the team that we have now and the ones that I've worked with since I got here have been phenomenal. They're really, really good. They allow me to do my job, so that's the most important thing. They don't micromanage. They ask a question, and I provide the feedback, and they'll say, well, why? And then I always provide that information to them. It's really important for anyone coming into the board that may be new to becoming a board member or new to the political arena, is that boards really set policy and approve the budget, and that's pretty much it. And they hire a superintendent. That's pretty much it. Other than the day-to-day stuff, that's where I come in. That's why they pay me to do that. There's only a couple real huge functions that a school board actually does.
So how do you handle, you have school board members running now who said, I'm running because they're spending too much money here, and they're doing this wrong here, and we need more Hispanic teachers, and we need more of this, and we need more of that. And that's fine, okay? But yet, sometimes it's easy to say things without knowing what's going on behind the scenes.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that really frustrate me when a person says, look, maybe you say, look, I'd like to address this. I don't know what the concerns are, but I think there's a need for this. And that's perfectly okay. And so, and you want to give of your service. But you find, when you find a city or a school district that's in disarray, you'll find either these councilmen or the mayor or the school boards in disarray, okay? And hopefully that's not going to be the case, no matter who gets in the election, right. Okay? But they're controlling taxpayers' money, all right? So when you read or you hear on television and someone's on my show saying something about the district, and you're shaking your head saying, my God, that person has no idea what we're all about, okay? If they would become educated to that fact, then it's a different story. Wouldn't you agree?
I completely agree, 100%. And again, they need to ask me the question. If they have certain questions about what may be happening or what they think may be happening, I'm not a big person on rumors, and you can ask all the staff. I address this every year. Don't believe the rumors. Come and ask me.
Exactly.
And if there are rumors out there about what improprieties going on in the district, whatever, come and see me and ask me those questions.
People are nasty. I've seen the phonies. and I see a lot of phonies running for office this year. They're phonies. They're just total phonies. And it's sad that some of them will make it in office and they'll bring disarray to the areas. Hopefully we'll have other people will be able to say, look, we know this person came on for only one reason. I hate when they say, well, I'm going on for this particular reason. Well, that's fine, but you don't have any idea what's going on with that. My friends, I'm talking to Dr. Uplinger, who's a superintendent of the Hazleton Area School District. Unfortunately, we have to pay attention, don't we? We have to pay attention because when it hits us in the face, we say, my God, why did that happen? Because you put the wrong people in the office. And you know what you do, my friends? Oh, he's a nice person, or she's a nice person. Let's vote for her. Let's vote for him because they say hi to me every morning. And that's great. But what do they know about controlling education? What do they know about the taxes that you will pay because they don't have the capacity of doing what they're doing? Before the election, if you're watching this, please be careful. After the election, make sure you monitor what they do. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. We're featuring on this show the Hazleton Area School District Report. 500 districts in the state of Pennsylvania. We're top 5. $260 million budget, nothing to laugh at, my friends. My guest today is Dr. Brian Uplinger, who is the superintendent of the school district. Remember, 24/7, you get to watch all of our neighborhood programs on ssptv.com and, of course, our YouTube channel. All right, let's talk about the grants and federal programs, and hopefully we can get more grants and get our fair share.
Right. So that's important to realize too, that the $260 million only goes so far, and 80% of that, we've talked before, 80% of that salary and benefits. Because we're continuing to grow, the salary and benefits are going to increase because we have to hire more people to take care of the students that are coming to us. So that's going to continually grow. In order to offset some of those costs that are in the budget, that are budgeted for, we do constantly look for grants. There are certain ones that are provided to us. However, we still have to jump through a number of hoops to receive them, and that would be federal programs like Title I, II, III, and IV. We receive dollars from the state in those respects for those different title fundings.
Do we have a grant writers?
We have individuals that are in charge of those specific areas, like federal programs is Dr. Michelle Zukoski. She takes care of all the federal programs there, plus some additional grants that come in, like the STOP grant. That's a program that is provided through the state to help us with funding for weapons detectors or any types of security measures that we're implementing, or mental health courses, things like that. That STOP grant. There's another one called COPS that we're also applying for, and that's kind of around $1 million. Both of them are about $1 million. So give or take, if we apply correctly and we get it, great, that's fantastic. If we don't, that money's already budgeted. We'd like to offset that money with those grants, and then we can use the budgeted money for something else.
We used to go fishing. When I say fishing, I mean we would address everything we would go to the state legislators, the state senators, U.S. congressmen, U.S. senators, we would go fishing, saying, because you find out, that there's something available for whatever, okay?
Right.
And are we exhausting every area that you're aware of?
That I'm aware of, yes. We have some individuals that are out in those areas that speak with legislators quite often, that give us heads up on potential grants that may be out there, like the RCAP grants that are available for renovating buildings, putting in roads, like the road that we're going to put in for the new building. There were grants that were available there. We were able to help provide information to certain people that were able to write that grant for us and secure those fundings.
Well, see, if there's a need, for example, the teachers, you have the program now with the LCC, and okay.
Right.
So if there's a need there, the students could go in there practically for free.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
and get a degree, which
Right.
is fast. So if there's a need, then I think there should be grant money to help provide for that
Right.
need. Okay.
I agree.
The Newcomer Center. What's that?
So Newcomer Center we have is our K-6 program that's in our early learning center. That provides a student that is new to the country within the last year with English language support in order for him or her to go back to their home school. So if they're new within a year, we can only keep them in the program for a year. Once they hit a certain level, they may be only in there a couple weeks, they might be in there a couple months, they may be in there the whole year, depending on their acuity and the ability for them to grasp the English language, and enough that we could get them back into their home school. And that program is always full, just because of the number of students that are coming to us. We still have the same program 7th through 12th, but those are in individualized buildings. We see a little less students that are coming 7 through 12 with not having English, some acuity of English. We see that obviously primarily in the elementary schools where they don't have as much English, and they're just coming to us at the beginning of the year.
So the question is, do we have a lot of Hispanics that do not understand English?
Students, we have ELL students. We're about 4,000, 4,100 students that are considered ELL students.
What does that mean?
English language learners. Okay. And they change that acronym all the time. You might hear ELD, or you might hear EL, but those are the students that their English is their second language, not their primary language. So we have about 4,100.
Do they understand English?
For the most part, they do. Okay. And there's different levels. There's level 1 through 4. Level 4, you're pretty much exiting the program. You have a great acuity with English language. So our level 1s are the most students that need the programming more than those that are level 4.
And from what I see throughout all the shows we've done, we are adapting to those people who do not understand fully English. Is that correct?
That's
okay.
correct, yes.
Right. As a superintendent, okay, looking at what we have in our district, what do you think some of the topics are that the public should become more aware of? So, because some of the shows we did, someone say to me, Sam, I never knew that. I never knew this. And I like to hear that.
Right.
Because at least we're talking about different things. And when we brought the assistant superintendents on,
right.
Now they know why it's so important to have them.
Correct.
And why we have and I think they're great, okay?
Yep,
I mean, not only they're good people, but they know what they're talking about.
They do,
okay?
right.
And that's great. I mean, we should be very proud in our area. We have the best teachers in the state of Pennsylvania, the best aides, our administrative staff. I mean, and when I go in different schools, I got to tell you, they're just great. And I think they deserve an applause, okay? And particularly what some of these teachers have to go through, my God, you can't pay them enough. But what do you think, in closing, Brian, the public should be more aware of?
I think that a lot of the questions that may be out there surround the budget. That's a pretty large topic that people are affected in their pocket a lot.
Sure.
Why am I paying taxes? Why do I don't have kids in school anymore? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Because it's law. And unfortunately, at this point, there's no other way to fund school districts other than through property taxes. I hope at some point there is some other way to do that, but there's also additional funding that is provided to the district that is a pass through, if you will, like homestead, farmstead money. We receive money from a different program. It's gaming money. It's horse racing and things like that, gambling money that comes to the district. It's a pass through, and we provide that back to the families. Every dime goes back out. Some families now are seeing that they don't have to pay taxes, like our older folks that may have been paying taxes. Their houses are paid off now, and their property taxes have come down. Whatever, they're not paying school taxes any longer because of those gaming monies that come back out.
That's great. There's a lot to be discussed.
There is.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to the vocational visit we're
Yes,
going to have.
definitely.
Because I think when the public sees, and they hear about it, when they see exactly what it's all about. In fact, STEM school, you name it, every one of these, they're just amazing. Well, just keep up the good work there, Doctor. Okay, my friends, this is the Hazleton Area School District Report. Hope you're learning something about it, my friends. SamSSPTV.com. or 570-455-7267. If you want to call me, there's the phone number. We'll see you next time.